Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. My name is Carl Pauline and this week I want to talk to you about building routines. Now, when you look at how people achieve their goals, when you look at how big projects are accomplished, the only way that can be done is if you establish a number of core routines that will take you from A to B if you follow those routines. Now, recently I watched a video on YouTube, which I will link to in the show notes below, on the story behind Forrest Gump. You know, we all remember that movie, Forrest Gump, with Tom Hanks. Now, it's a wonderful movie, it's a beautiful movie, but there is a meaning, there is a kind of message in that movie, which is all about process. Now, if you've seen the movie, you'll know that Tom Hanks, the character he plays, I should say Forrest Gump, the character that Tom Hanks plays, he is a naturally gifted person. He picks up a table tennis bat and starts playing table tennis against the wall over and over and over again, and immediately he'll become a world champion. He begins a shrimp farming business and he turns it into a multi-million-dollar empire, and he goes running and runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. And the thing about that was most people miss the main meaning in that story, which is it's all about the process of running, the process of playing table tennis or practicing table tennis, the process of going out and fishing for shrimp every single day. It's the process. And that's what a lot of people seem to miss when they're trying to build a successful project or to change their lives in some kind of way, whether it's to change it through a goal or just to change their lifestyle. It's not about the end goal initially. What you have to do is you need to establish what are those little action steps, those tiny little action steps that if you take every single day, you will move a step closer to achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. Now, classic case, and an easy one to give you, is like if you decide you want to begin an exercise program. Now, sitting on the sofa watching TV dreaming about being fit and healthy is never going to make you become fit. The only way you will become fit and healthy is if you do at least 20 minutes of exercise. The argument is a minimum of 3 times a week. I would say 5 times a week if you're doing 20 minutes a day. But it's just 20 minutes. I mean, everybody can find 20 minutes a day to spend doing some kind of activity. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym every day for 20 minutes and lift weights and run on exercise machines. That's what it doesn't mean. It just means you have to increase your activity level. And that could just mean going for a 20-minute walk. I would say a brisk walk, but you'd need to go for that walk. You need to move. That's activity. It doesn't have to be jogging or running or weight training or yoga or anything else like that unless you want to do that. It just means raising your activity level. When you do that for just 20 minutes, 5 days a week, you're going to improve your health and fitness. That's how simple it is. You're looking for the minor little bits, the little steps that you can take every single day that's going to take you towards achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. Now, when it comes to projects, what I notice is in every single project that I've ever done, there are some core tasks that if I do consistently over a period of time, I will end up with a completed project. Now, that could be, as for example, I'm building a workshop at the moment for my language students, the company I work with. And what I know is I have an idea in my mind about what the message is going to be. So at least if I'm spending an hour a day to build the presentation file, to build the workbook, to work on my message, to be able to clearly convey my message to my students. I know at the end of a 2-week period, I will have a workshop. If I tried to sit down and spend 14 hours in one day to build that project, it's not going to happen. And even if it did happen, it wouldn't be very good. But if I spend an hour a day over 14 days, I spend the same amount of time, the 14 hours. It's much more manageable. My subconscious mind, if you watched the video from last week, I talked about how to engage your subconscious mind. Well, my subconscious mind is fully engaged for that full 14 days, and I will have a completed workshop with a presentation file and a workbook. That's what it takes, 1 hour a day to spend on that. I've often talked about Ian Fleming in this book, the creator of James Bond, in this video series. And Ian Fleming spent 3 hours every morning while he was on holiday in Jamaica writing and 2 hours in the afternoon editing. It was 5 hours a day. After 6 weeks, he had a completed manuscript. He had a completed book that just needed a little bit of touching up throughout the rest of the year, and the book was published at the end of the year. It's a very simple thing. It's the process, and you turn the process into a routine. Now, this is one of the reasons why when you try to manage multiple projects all at once, things generally go wrong. It's very difficult to manage multiple projects every day because you're trying to set aside enough time to work on each of those projects every day, and yet you've also got all the distractions and interruptions that are coming at you every day, which are inevitable, and you can't turn them off unless you're very lucky. So if you really are struggling to get your projects completed, if you're really struggling to achieve goals, just step back a little bit and have a look at what those core tasks that you need to do frequently, like if you can every day, that's going to take you closer and closer towards achieving that goal. Every project, every goal has those core tasks. It's up to you to discover what they are so that you can implement them into your to-do list every single day to make sure you're moving them forward. This is one of the reasons why I have what I call my recurring areas of focus set up in my this week time sector. The simple reason for that is those are the key core tasks that are going to move my projects forward. They're going to move my goals forward because I stay focused on those tasks. I've identified those tasks when I did the project planning and the goal planning, and now all I have to do is implement them on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully this episode has been useful for you. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and if you haven't checked out the time sector system, check it out. The details of this system are in the show notes below, and I would really greatly appreciate it if you would take the course, because that helps me to be able to make more courses to be able to help you and many more people and keep this YouTube channel alive. Well, thank you very much. It just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. Now, I'd like to introduce you to a brand new way of managing your tasks. Now, this system is called the time sector system. It's designed to do away with your projects, to do away with your goals, or at least do away with them from your time management system, your to-do list manager, and instead focuses on when you are going to do the task. Now, the reason for this is from a research that I did for the whole of last year, figuring out why most people were really struggling with their tasks, getting their tasks done on a day-to-day basis. What I discovered was they were managing their tasks by project. And the biggest problem with managing tasks by project is, first of all, deciding whether a task is a project or not. 2 or more tasks becomes a project, which means that you end up with a huge project list. And once you have a huge project list, just managing that list takes up an awesome amount of time. Time you could better be spent actually doing the work, not organizing. The time sector method is designed to do away with all that processing so that the only decision you have to make is when are you going to do a task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, how urgent a task is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. So I have launched a brand new course that gives you the step-by-step approach of setting up the time sector method. It's a revolutionary course. It's designed for the 21st century. For all the inputs that we get today, all the emails, the Slack messages, and everything else that comes our way, it's designed to deal with that, to manage that so you stay focused on what you have identified are your most important tasks for the day. I'd love to see you in the course. Full details of the course are in the show notes below. I'd love you to check it out. Join me in the course and let's take your productivity to a greater level than you've ever imagined. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. I just wish you all a very, very productive week.